You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, where we talk about lawns, lessons, life, and a lot of you guys have been listening in for quite a bit of time. You know that the gamut around here is we do some solo shows and we do some guest shows, and we try to alternate them and keep things moving, keep things fresh, and always love hearing what you guys have going on in your guys' businesses, and get quite a few of you guys on the show. If you guys are ever think you have a good story to tell or want to tell your story, shoot me some emails and we'll banter back and forth, see if things make sense, and see where that unique story may go. Today, super excited about having a guest on that I think you guys are really going to enjoy the conversation with us today. Michael Deel joining us all the way from what I would assume is beautiful, hot, warm, sunny Florida. Michael, welcome to the show, man. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Brian. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Hanging in there. Probably, well, not probably, but more than likely jealous than what you got going on there weather-wise. What is the temperature in Florida? Give me some good news, brother.
Oh, you would think that. It's usually, when everybody asks me how the weather is down here, I say it's almost always 87 degrees, but it's 68 degrees. I'm wearing a thermal shirt with some sweatpants, and it's cold. You know, anything under 70 degrees gets pretty cold for us.
Oh, my God, 68 degrees, bro. It's 20 degrees here, real feel. The weather is 28 outside.
Oh, man.
I would kill to have the weather be 68 and 70 and sunny. That's short and t-shirt weather where we're from, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at my banana trees as I'm sitting here, so it's pretty nice.
Hey, you know what? 68, 7 degrees and sunny though. Anywhere Georgia, Florida, south. That's always a good time if you ask me. We're hoping to get down that way later this year. Take a little family vacation and trip down to Bradenton area. It's a beautiful over that way. Anna Maria Island, I think it's called. Hoping to get out that way. We have a friend that has a house on there that we're hoping to get a couple of days with. So I'll hope to enjoy that 60, 70, 80 degree temperature before you know it, man. Today we're going to be talking about your background, your story, what you got going on, man. We were DMing back and forth on Instagram and excited about hearing what you got going on. Now, let me ask you this. I think we were talking before we hit record. You didn't start in Florida, though. You're actually, was it Virginia or Kentucky? Where are you from again?
I'm from Virginia, the southwestern tip of Virginia in the Appalachian Mountains, from a little town called Coburn, Virginia.
Okay. So you are polar opposite than Florida from where you originally got started and were growing up.
Yeah. It's about 800 miles north of where I'm from. It's a little coal mining community. And, I was an underground coal miner before I came here.
No way. Like, for real?
Yeah. So we were, about 1,000 feet underground, 800 feet, something like that.
Holy cow. Did you guys ride those trains, like the carts or something in there? Or do you guys have an elevator shaft? Or how do you do that?
We had a big slope where we rode something like those things that they bring the luggage on at the airport.
Okay.
It kind of looked like that, like a big heavy duty Jeep that's low profile that we would drive down a big hill down into the mine.
No way. That's crazy. Is it like out of the movies, like pitch black and then you got the lights and the lanterns and all that mess? Or how does it, what are you guys doing day to day?
Oh yeah. So, there was one mine that I worked at. It was about an hour and a half ride into where we were actually mining. So it's just pitch black and you have your light on your head. And then, occasionally they would have these what they call power centers where there were just big boxes that you would, plug in for, power for the equipment. And those would be lit up, but everything else, like, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
No way, bro. No way. Are you afraid of what's claustrophobic or I don't even know what they call it, but like afraid of dark or dark spaces or oh my God.
No. And my wife thought she always said that she couldn't do it, but I actually took her underground on a tour and she thought it was really cool. So
no way.
It didn't bother her at all.
That's wild, man. I'll see like Instagram videos or reels, of like cave diver enthusiasts, whatever they're called. And they're like, dude, just going through and wait, a little similar but different than what you guys are doing. I know some of you guys are like, let's get back to lawn care, Fullerton. Hey, relax, I'll get there. But you guys have these unique backgrounds, bro. And I love meeting people, but I'm like, you see these people cave diving and unfortunately sometimes these people don't make it. The water rises or there's a rainstorm, up on the surface and it floods these tunnels. These people just unfortunately like lose their life. And I'm just thinking to myself, what in God's earth would you do? Why would you hands and knees crawl or on your back, hundreds of yards in these caves or caverns? I can't be the only one watching this stuff and just going like, what are you doing? Like, are you asking for a death sentence? And, but you guys have like little cities underneath there. And so, what was that was not the life for you? It sounded like, some different economic situations, presented itself. You were getting a little sick and tired of it. And, did you decide to go into lawn care and landscaping, or did you guys decide to move first? Like, how did you guys end up in Florida then?
Well, long story short, I loved the coal mining, the actual job and everything, but it became really political and they started shutting down a lot of the mines.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
The company I worked for had, 7 underground operations, and then 7 years later they had 1. So it was just, the writing on the walls was just to leave.
Yeah.
So we actually came to Florida to work for my wife's uncle, but that kind of fell through. So I ended up, I got a job welding in Miami of all things. And, then I started mowing on the side after I started doing the permits for them. And, I just jumped ship over it. I started making more money, mowing lawns, and I just had a handful of them and, the miscellaneous jobs that comes with it. So I went ahead and we just took a leap of faith. My wife told me to, quit the job, and that's what we've been doing for 4 years now.
No kidding. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, let's do this real quick. Guys, we going to run some ads here. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors, but I'm like engrossed in this conversation, bro. Like, I'm vested. Like, this is actually pretty awesome. So a guy started with coal mining, then went into welding down in Miami, Florida, now starts and runs a lawn and landscape business, and you're full-time doing this thing, doing really well for yourself as well. So we're going to hear a little bit more about this story right when we come on back. So guys, really quickly, if you guys are new to the program, we have a podcast that drops Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we do love having the support of our show sponsors. Without them, we couldn't keep the lights on around here and bringing you guys this podcast. So if you guys want to do me a quick favor, we're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to come and hear a little bit more back from Michael. Hang tight.
Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Rite marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack make snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Rite marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors, orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-rite.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA.
All right, well, Michael, we are jumping right on into it, brother. I don't want to lose any of this momentum. I'm invested into this story. You're talking about going and doing welding in Miami. Were you working like at a company designing widgets, or were you like working on like cruisers and ships for the Navy? Like, I've heard a little bit of all that down south. So how's that working?
Actually, it was for a company that's a local company here in Vero Beach, but they build gas station canopies. So we were, building the new canopies for a lot of the gas stations in Miami and down in the Keys. So if you go down in the Keys, there's like 3 canopies that I built right there.
No kidding.
Well,
that's
I didn't
awesome. Do
it by myself, but yeah. So, yeah.
Those are the things I'm hoping to not hit with my new 5th wheel camper, by the way, when I pull off an exit.
There you go. That's what I want to go there here soon and tent camp, so they got these cool little places down there where you can tent camp. I'd like to go down there with my family and do it, but
hey, I haven't done it yet. That and doing some fishing down there off the coastline would be pretty dope. I know Al Blades and Alan Hayner are always fishing, man, on their Instagram. So shout out to those guys. But so you started doing lawn care on the side. Tell me about that. How'd you get started in the industry? Were you doing grass back at home, or just had a passion for the outdoors, or how'd that work out?
See, I always cut my own yard back home. It was a completely different type of grass than we have down here, and I wanted to do it. So if someone needed their yard, like a neighbor or somebody growing up in 13 for spending money, I would do it. But, most people in the area just do it themselves. And I never wanted to, pull the trigger. I didn't know if it would sustain it. But when we came down here, there's, the subdivision that I live in, there's 200 houses in this subdivision alone. And there's one every other, everywhere you look, every direction, there's another one. So my wife's uncle hired me to cut his grass. And then, I was like, well, maybe if I do one or two. And then next thing I knew, I had 12. And that's when I quit my job, is when I had 12. And now we're sitting at like 103, 104 that we do on a weekly basis during the growing months.
No kid. The solo, or do you have a couple guys that help you?
I'm solo this time of year. So how we do it here is we mow year round. But so the growing months is somewhere around between April and May, depending on when the rain hits. Okay. And then we transition to 2 weeks at the beginning of late October, mid-November. So I just divide my accounts in half, and I do 50 or so one week, 50 or so the next week. And, I can do it solo. And then I'm lucky that some of the guys that I worked with at the construction company, I've got one guy, his name is Adam, and another guy, Brett, which he has a lawn care service too called Blue Collar Lawn and Landscape.
Okay.
They help me. And then I've got one family member down here that he's like a brother of mine, but he's my cousin, and he's a tree climber. So he climbs up the 75-foot palm trees and stuff like that every day. So they all help me with all the stuff on the weekends, and then they bail me out of jams and stuff on the mowing too. But during the summer growing months, obviously I can't do that. So you're literally, Monday through Thursday doing 100 yards. So I got a guy that works at a golf course, and his schedule is it's completely opposite of mine. So when they shut down in the summertime, so he needs a job, so it kind of works out perfectly.
No way. Okay. Is it just too hot, or they just don't need the extra help, or the lawns don't grow the same, or I don't even know how it works down in Florida. That's interesting.
Well, the golf course shuts down because all the people from up north go back up north. So, they go to places like Wisconsin and Michigan and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Wow. I guess I never would have put those together, but that does make sense. I have friends down in North Carolina, and they say like they're done, with summer around May, June, because it's just so dang hot, and people literally summer up north. And summer, like they go to Connecticut and Martha's Vineyard, like those kind of places. People that are more affluent down south, they go up north. And it's just like in the winter, people in Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, like you said, they go down to Florida where it's warm. And one of my guys, Mark, his dad, I forget his dad's name. He worked with us one day doing mulch. He did a 20-yard mulch job with us, and I think we burned him out of the business. He's like, you guys, he's retired, just wants some extra cash, and we're like, hey, we'll take some extra labor, but we did a 38-yard mulch job, two sites next to each other, two tire shop things, and he's like, you guys work way too hard. I'm out of here. I'm retired. I don't need this. But he goes to Florida. Oh, yeah. He goes to Florida for 4 months, man. So I'm like, hey, I will come on down there tomorrow and hang out with you guys, man. He's in. Where is he at? Fort Myers Beach area, I think it is. So,
okay, yeah. So he's on the West Coast, 3 hours west of us. So we're almost the same area, but if you went straight across to the East Coast.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. Beautiful area. From what I understand, I'm like, hey, I'll go down to Florida. Like I said, any time of the year, arguably besides like July and August, when it's 110 degrees down there, I opt out, so on my birthday on July 7th was my birthday, and I worked, and the heat index was 120. So holy cow.
It was brutal.
How do you guys manage, if you don't mind me asking, like that crazy heat influx when it's 110 degrees outside? Like, there's not enough water or hydration packs, I feel like, that could actually keep you moving or grooving. Like, do you try to work like 6 to noon and then you're done, or what do you guys do?
Well, I can't really hardly start until 8 o'clock. A lot of the HOAs, they won't let you in there.
Sure.
At 8 o'clock, they won't let you start, fire anything up. But about 1 or 2 o'clock, it starts getting pretty bad. And I drink a lot of this little drink called electrolyte. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
But and then liquid IV and Gatorade. I'll drink.
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing. I mean, it helps, but you'll start locking up and stuff like that, and you kind of know the telltale signs of when you need to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I've heard people that do landscaping in Arizona, not a lot of mowing grass out of that, obviously that way. And most of those guys will work about 5 a.m. to about noon is the schedule, and they're done, and it's just too hot. And I'm like, I guess that makes some sense. It is just wild. Like, I complain about the hot days and the heat over here in Michigan, where it's 91 and humid, and I'll get trolled on Instagram, and all the guys from Oklahoma and Texas, and they know who they are. They're my buddies. They shoot me messages, and it's like 107 on the dash, and they've already been through their second shirt of the day, kind of deal, and it's brutal down there. So shout out to all you guys pulling through with the heat down in Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. That stuff is that's wild. And I always say my justification is maybe you guys are a little bit more acclimated to it. I don't know. You're a transplant. Have you acclimated to that? Is that a thing, or is it still as abusive as you can imagine?
It's abusive, but you do acclimate. Like I was saying, like I'm wearing a thermal shirt right now, and it's 68 degrees. So you do get used to it. Anything under 70 degrees is kind of cooler and everything, but it's hard to really get used to 110, 105 degrees.
Yeah.
But, like you said, if I do a project on the weekends, sometimes I might try to do like 6 hours or something like that. And that's about enough. That's
fair. I like it. Let me ask you this. Yeah. When you're talking about moving to Florida, not knowing anything or anybody or the highways, the subdivisions, the turf type, what was that learning curve for you? Sometimes I'll get folks that'll say, "Hey, I want to cut grass. There's not really of a market where I'm at. It's low income, or it's a depressed area. It's not on the grow, and they want to move to a new area, a new state, new market, maybe a wealthier side of town. Even it doesn't have to be a state away. It could be 45 minutes on the other side of a major metropolitan city, and they want to get to the burbs that's more affluent or whatever it is. What's your whole take on that whole, re-transplanting, I guess, where you moved to in Florida? Like you said, the turf was different, all this other stuff. What was it? Trial by fire? Did you take any classes or an education? Like, how did you start to learn what you do in Florida differently than in Virginia, Kentucky area?
Well, first I just started off by cutting my own yard, and then my neighbor came over and told me that if I didn't raise the pickup higher, that I was going to ruin my entire yard and cost me $20,000.
Whoa!
So
no way.
Yeah, that was in the beginning. I was cutting it too low. We have St. Augustine sod here.
Okay.
And we generally cut it at 4 inches, so that's a lot higher than like fescue grass that we cut back in Virginia.
Sure.
So So I started doing my own lawn, and you get the hang of it. Start doing a good job, and then I do have licensing. Like I have what's called a limited or an LCLM for it's the herbicide and fertilizer for your mulch beds.
Okay.
And I have a fertilizer license for the actual turf. But just living here for 7 years and just learning trial by fire as you go, like you said.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer the warm climate compared to the cool climate, grasses and plants and shrubs and all that mess and turf, or are you more of a long term? Florida's your new home.
Oh no, Florida's my new home.
Okay.
This is where I plan on spending the next, at least the next 30 years. In the perfect world, I'd like to go back and forth like you were talking about earlier. And then, I'd like to have a house in the mountains, but for now I got 2 small children and they're both in school, and then, I'm doing this, and it's pretty much a 7-day-a-week, job right now. So,
yeah.
We're here, but the St. Augustine grass is great. It doesn't stripe like the stuff that you guys have. But it grows, like all of it's irrigated, and it's just always there. It always grows, and you don't have to worry about it. So it's just job security.
Man, that's awesome. And now let me ask you this: one other thing, Kentucky, Virginia, that whole area, the Midwest, or even where you guys were at. I'm sure there was a couple months where it was slow, and maybe 2-3 months, and then you kind of spruce things back up February, March. In Florida, best understand, like you guys might slow down a little bit, but it's not like you take 2, 3, 4 months or off, or you get winter like we do maybe in Michigan, Illinois, that kind of stuff. So how do you manage, running the business now year round? I mean, does it slow down a little bit? Is there any time where you can take vacations and catch a break? Or is it just forever go down that way?
Well, my plan was to keep everything all in 1 week and do everything in 1 week and use the other week for the other jobs. Like I said, like the mulch and the trees and hedge trimming and stuff like that, and then use it for time for vacations and everything. But it didn't work out that way. So I had to split everything up and do it solo again. But no, so far I haven't been able to take any vacations or anything since we started this. But that is something that I'd like to do, in the future, where once I get it built to where, it can sustain itself a little bit better. And I have a crew that's, with me all the time.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and not only that, as you continue to grow the company, potentially hire a guy or two or bring them on even more full time, that might be able to alleviate your schedule a little bit to work, quote unquote, on the company instead of just in the company, maybe get a little bit of personal freedom back as well. You can be a little bit more flexible, take that 4 or 5 days, family vacation for yourself, especially when you have those littles. I know that's really, really important to me. I'm sure it's very, very important to you as well, So that's, any plans for that in the future as your company continues to grow? Like where do you want to take this thing in the future?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I want to do. I don't really know how big I wanted to get, but I would like to at least like a mowing crew and then a landscaping crew, so like an enhancement crew. And like say if they go do the hedge trimming and everything on, Monday, and then perhaps we come the next day and do the mowing of, a different truck. Mm-hmm. Then they're all doing the mowing and stuff like that. That's the goal for one day, but I'm just not there yet.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you'll get there. Absolutely, dude. And do you plan to continue to grow the turf side of things or more like the landscape side of things? Where do you see the biggest upside for your company if you do decide to grow?
The enhancements, there's a lot more money in the enhancements. And
sure.
Yeah. So the mowing, I really like the mowing because like we were saying, it's the flat rate down here where it's just, averaged out for the entire year. So it's dependable cash flow on all of that. But I honestly, I got everything I just kind of matched other people's prices. And after I got into it, I think you call it giving away the farm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now I've been slowly pulling levers, trying to get everybody up to a more profitable number. So that way, like I thought, like when I had 60 yards, when I get to 80, then that's when I'll be able to hire somebody. And then I was like, well, 80 didn't help nothing. So, like it just kept pushing it down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously, the enhancements kind of come along with the amount of yards that you have. So it kind of stokes the fire.
Yeah. We had Sam Gimbel at our conference at Launchpreneur Academy Live, and he said for every account that he gets, they try to do 50% of the same revenue with landscaping for his commercial. So a lot of people were asking about commercial accounts and they're a little bit more competitive. And so he said, if, let's say we're doing 10 grand for lawn maintenance, we're trying to do 5 grand in landscape enhancements out there to, make up for that. Maybe not the highest margin or lower margin, work from the maintenance side of the business. So I think that's a great idea and a great approach there. Absolutely, man. Well, that's awesome, dude. Well, let me ask you this, man. Just kind of open mic. Any final thoughts where you want to, leave these guys? Any parting thoughts and words? This is kind of a short and sweet podcast episode today, but man, it's seems like you got some great things going on. You tell me some revenue numbers before we hit record, and they're stout, they're healthy. I'm excited for you, and seems like you got a great thing going on.
I think the biggest thing is, like you were saying, we just said a minute ago, don't give it away for free. And I was in the beginning just doing like a pressure washing job and make for $40, and then you get done and kind of felt like, Keith Kalfas when he's like, there's nothing left over at the end, and
sure.
But, just kind of like, you can't know your numbers because you don't have any numbers to know in the beginning, but just suck up as much, work as you can in the beginning. And as you get going, you could, like we said a minute ago, you could pull some levers, start, adjusting everything and just take 5-10 people at a time and get them to where they need to be.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, absolutely, dude. Well, hey, keep it growing. Keep it going. Super proud of you. Super excited about what you got going on. If I'm ever down in your neck of the woods, I'm going to have to come visit you and Al Blades and a bunch of other great folks I know that are down on that side of Florida. You guys got a great thing going on, man. And thanks for reaching out. Thanks for sharing your story and giving us a little bit more details and encouraging the next guy. One last thing. Where can people find you? Are you on Instagram or Facebook, or where can these guys find you?
Yeah, we have Instagram and Facebook. It's just Deel Lawn Care. On Instagram and Facebook. That's it.
That's awesome, brother. All right, man. Well, there you go. We'll make sure to leave links in the description down below, and we'll tag you on IG and try to get the word out about what you guys got going on, man. But thanks for taking time today to join us on the podcast, brother.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. Well, hey, guys, that's another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Appreciate you guys listening in. As always, always appreciate getting you guys on the show and getting some guest interviews out there. Kind of changing it up from the monotony of hearing myself, at the peak of the mountain just complaining or just kidding, pontificating. No, just kidding. Just trying to help you guys out, to help you guys grow as we're all in this together. So, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Rite marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack makes snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Rite marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors, orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-rite.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA. Before you turn off the podcast, there are 2 things that we believe you will be highly interested in. First, if you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you'll want to subscribe to our free email newsletter. It shows up in your inbox 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. The second thing is we have just launched Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Now you can be a part of an exclusive community that links you to those who can help you grow in your lawn care business. Joining Lawntrepreneur Link will give you the tools that you need to stay accountable, get real-time expert advice, and find belonging in a community of folks who are passionate about the lawn care industry just like you. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com to learn how Link membership gives you unique access to monthly hangouts, bidding hour calls, coaching calls, expert lessons, and more. Stay ahead of the curve and level up your business with a membership to the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Find an easy-to-use link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.